Hello and welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a get ready with me using my Pan Those Eyeshadows selections. I am actually going to do 2 of these this month. I usually say that I aim for 2, but this month it's actually going to happen because I already have a plan in place for what I want the other look to be. That one is going to be pretty colorful. It's going to be yellow, blue, and green. I know that that sounds exactly like what I'm wearing today, but I just thought that would be a little too matchy-matchy for my tastes. So today we're going to do a more neutral look that hones in on the taupe and rosy shades, as well as the neutrals that are in the project this time around. So let's get started. I think that I'm going to actually start with a shade that isn't in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. I have my eye primer down, so I'm just going to set that with this cream shade from NYX. Today I'm thinking neutral eye with maybe a little bit of a subtle duochrome, and then a pretty bold lip. I got a new lipstick yesterday, which I'd already spent my beauty budget for the month, and I don't feel great about it, but I'm like not unhappy with the item that I purchased, so kind of a trade-off there. Okay, before we get too off track, let's start out with this taupe shade. I'm going to take that on this pretty small blending brush, and I'm just going to wedge that in the deepest part of my crease. I'm not going to worry too much about being neat at this point because I'm going to be adding so much color on top of it, and I'm going to be blending it out both down and up with some different shades. So it's okay if it looks pretty messy right now. Eventually, it may not look quite as messy, maybe. So speaking of blending this up, I'm going to take this light, I call it a rosy purple because it's like this spot that's right between rose and mauve and lilac, and on my skin tone it makes just the most perfect neutral, somewhat cool toned transition shade, and I am going over the top of that taupe. Both of these shades are in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, by the way. I'm taking that pretty much all the way up to the brow bone. I am going to highlight my brow bone later on, so I don't worry if there's a little bit of pink right next to it, because that'll all get covered up. I just want to make sure that I don't have an edge with that darker taupe. Okay, so we're looking good on that front. Next up, we're going to move to the lid. I have 2 good lid shades in the project right now. The first is this sort of ash blonde shade from NYX. Again, I'm just going to take this on my finger and apply it pretty much all over the lid. I'm going to leave the very inner corner bare, but otherwise we're going in. I scored this month on my draws. I've got to say that. I have so many just easy everyday colors. I drew a couple of shades that I want to be using consistently in spring anyway, which is amazing. And I mean, this for example, this is one of my favorite shades in my collection. I want to pan this year, and it has been a go-to shade for me in spring for years. I think I've owned this for 4 years, and there was at least one spring where I pretty much wore this all over the lid every day. So not only is it really convenient that it got drawn during this year so that I could work on it while also making progress on my Panthers eyeshadows, it also got drawn at the exact right time. Incredible. Love it. Okay, so at this point I have a very, very neutral lid. It's actually, I think, maybe a little bit too muted, so I'm going to bring in, I think this is Glass Bowl. Yes, this is a ColourPop shade. I will have everything that I use listed down in the description box, but here is what that looks like. It has like a brown base with sort of a blue-green shimmer to it. It's not the most extreme flip, but I really like that because, let me pop this on the middle of the lid. It just makes such an easy, neutral, but still interesting effect on the lid. I was so proud of myself. ColourPop was offering free shipping, no minimum, and I was on the site. I was like, ooh, we're gonna get some more eyeshadows that are similar to Glass Bowl, those really pretty easy to wear duochromes, and I didn't. I resisted. I kept more or less to my eyeshadow no-buy. Yes, it's technically broken already because I bought 3 singles instead of 2, but hey, I'm doing better than I would have otherwise. Okay, so I think that's good for the upper lid. I do want to add a little bit of definition to my lower lash line. And for that, actually, let's get some use out of another project. And this brown shade, this is in my 5 Tries to Figure It Out, I think. Come out, brush. Thank you. So I'm just gonna run that under the lower lash line to give me some definition, just really soft definition. I like using shades like this in this way because when I do a good job with them, they feel a little bit almost indetectable. It definitely makes my lash line look a little bit thicker and the lashes look a little bit deeper, brings some attention to my eyes, but it doesn't look like obvious makeup. Also, I'm gonna highlight the brow bone, which I'm just gonna use this white shade, which I only hit pan on this like a week ago, I think. I've been making good progress on it. It was pretty thin in that entire area. It was not a concentrated little hole. It was pretty spread out, so the pan has been increasing quickly. Okay, so there is at least the first round of shadow done. I do think I'm going to just go with my finger over the outer edges. But I think that is looking good for now. Now let's move on to the lips. I do have some just chapstick on right now, and I think I'm going to apply my lipstick over it. We're going to start out with this e.l.f. red liner. That's not going to work for me. I think that I'm going to take the chapstick off and be back in just a sec. Okay, we're starting fresh with bare lips this time. And yeah, that'll work a lot better for me. Okay, now I have my new lipstick that I was talking about earlier. My Target was clearing out a lot of their NYX stuff. I don't know why, but I got this lipstick for like $1.90. It's kind of hard to open, but once I do open it, it is such a pretty color. It's this deep berry red. It's a little bit vampy, but not overly so. Let me just put it on instead of trying to talk through it. Okay, and there it is. I'm really liking the color. I do think that just because I'm trying to pan this next product, I will add a little bit of it in the on the lower lip. This bright red from Bite. Yeah. I like that. That's a pretty combo. I will need to remember that for the future. And now reevaluating the eyes, I do think that I could use a little bit of liner. Okay, so I didn't intend on doing winged liner, but it sort of happened, and I'm not unhappy with how it turned out. I also took the opportunity to put on mascara, both top and bottom. I think that the eyes really needed the bottom mascara today. Now I think I'm going to do the cheeks. I think that it makes sense for me today to go with a pretty neutral blush. I think I'm actually going to use this Physicians Formula Happy Booster, and I'm going to take it on just my big blush brush, and I think I will probably mix it with a little bit of this bronzer. This is just their original butter bronzer. They both have a little bit of glow to them without being a whole lot. And I'm going to apply the same mixture on my forehead as well as down my neck a little bit. I'm just leaving this entire area alone. I know that it has some pretty nasty breakouts, but I don't want to put any makeup on it for exactly that reason. It's bad enough as is. I don't need anything that's going to further clog up my pores, and I want to keep that area bare so that I can reapply my salicylic acid throughout the day. Now I want to hit my shoulders as well as my clavicle with some highlight. I think for this I'm going to mix a touch of the butter bronzer with quite a bit of this gold highlight. I'm going to take this on this big dense fan brush, go on the shoulders, a little bit more. Then I think I'm going to just dip into the gold for the clavicle. And with that, I think that I am done. I'm really happy with this look. I think that it looks very polished and put together and still fun. I do really like the way that that glass bowl duochrome layered over the ash shade. I think I'm going to have to reach for that quite a bit. And I'm just really happy that I have so many pretty neutrals in my Pan Those Eyeshadows this month. That really worked out well for me. I will link my most recent Pan Those Eyeshadows update as well as the playlist that has the updates as well as all of these little get ready with me's that I've done over these last several months. I hope you will check them out. Thanks again for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed, and I really hope that I'll see you next time. Bye.